So, check this out, people. Today I want to talk about something that has been going around on Facebook. It's about a young couple, a Filipina and a foreigner, right, who met. This foreigner was from some European country. I'm not exactly sure what country. It sounds like a Russian or some, I think it's Slovenia. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, this young couple met. I don't know if they met online. Most likely they did meet online. After a few weeks, maybe a month or two, I'm not exactly sure, this foreigner came to the Philippines, and within a month, they were married. They were married after knowing each other only 5 months. Just 5 months they knew each other. And within a month, actually they knew each other 4 months, and within a month after the 4 months, they were married, right? So they were together a total of 5 months. And after they were married, he left back to his country, Slovenia, I believe. I'm not exactly sure if I'm even pronouncing it right, but I will leave the name of the country on my description, or I'll just post it up, right? Please excuse the noise in the background. This is the Philippines. This happens all the time, right? But anyway, he went back to his country first, I guess, to prepare everything. And then within a week or two, she followed and she went to his country. And 7 days later, after she arrived in his country, she was dead because he deleted her, right? He murdered her. And after the fact, people found out that he had mental issues, right? And this is the problem with a lot of the Filipinas, right? The problem is that they meet a foreigner, and because they see the American dollar or the foreign dollar, they believe that these people are rich. They believe we're all rich. And they also believe that foreigners are going to treat them better than Filipinos. And in a lot of ways, that's true. I'm not going to lie, right? This is why Filipinas get with foreigners, because foreigners are looking for a wife and Filipinas are looking for a husband. So it works out, right? And unfortunately, here in the Philippines, most men who marry a Filipina don't stay with her, right? And so the problem here lies in that Filipinas tend to become attached really quick. And when you meet a man, especially a foreigner, who you know nothing about, and you become attached to him and you marry him, or you want to have children with him, or you want to move in with him right away, that's a problem. It's not just a problem for him, because most men don't want that, right? At least not so fast. But you have no idea what it is you're getting into when you meet a man online, and then he comes to your country to visit. You become smitten because of his light skin, his blonde hair, and blue eyes, and you think that that makes him a good person. You think that him being a foreigner and having the foreign currency makes him a good person. And the fact is that the majority of Americans, for example, I don't know about this country, Slovenia, or however it is you pronounce it, but I can tell you this, that the majority of Americans are on antidepressants. America is the largest country, or the country that holds the most amount of people on antidepressants in the whole world. Just think about that. Right now, why is that? If America is the greatest country in the world, the freest country in the world, and the richest country in the world, why are the majority of Americans on antidepressants? You need to ask yourself these things. And before you get into a relationship with a man, any man, but especially a foreigner, because if you intend to leave your country and go to another country where you have no family, no friends, no support system, and you get with a man who's crazy, you're going to have problems. especially if you don't know he's crazy. And most of the time, you're not gonna know. Now, I've seen videos, short videos of this young man. This couple was only in their 20s, and it's a shame that this woman who was so beautiful had her life taken by someone who she knew nothing about. In their 20s, both of them in their 20s, and they looked happy. And I can tell you this, that just because people look happy on video doesn't mean they're happy in real life. Okay? Because I'm thinking that something must have been happening during the time that they were together before she even went to his country. I mean, if they were just happy every day and nothing was going wrong, and then she flies to his country and he murders her, then this guy is truly crazy and really had some mental issues. But the fact that this young woman couldn't see that, didn't see the red flags, there's always a sign. There are always red flags. The problem is that Filipino women, especially, are easily smitten by foreigners. And you need to vet everyone you meet online. You need to check on them. You need to research them. Okay? It's really windy out here today, so if my camera is shaking, I apologize, people. But I have 4 daughters of my own. And my daughters are not just going to get with anybody without me first talking to this person and letting him know and making it clear that it is his responsibility to make sure that my daughter is safe and comfortable. And that if she isn't, then there's going to be a problem. And it doesn't matter how big or small he is, there's going to be a problem. The problem here, again, with the Philippines is that these families, a lot of them are poor. A lot of them think that foreigners are rich. And when a woman brings a foreigner to the house, the parents are eager and happy to see him, without understanding that being a foreigner doesn't make you a good person. Being a foreigner doesn't make you a sane person. Because Europeans got a lot of issues, a lot. I've never seen so many happy people in my life other than here in the Philippines. And I'm sure there are people here with mental issues, of course. There are people like that everywhere in the world. But there's a big difference here in the Philippines where people who are hungry, who are poor, who have stress, women who are raising children by themselves, the majority of them, are happy and deal with life because they know how to cope. They've experienced it from childhood, so they know how to handle conflict. They know how to handle stress. They know how to handle hunger, sadness, being alone. But a lot of Americans and Europeans, they have no sense of strength, mental and emotional strength. Because as soon as they get hurt, as soon as something happens to them, some family member passes or dies or something tragic happens, the very first thing they do is go see their doctor and get on medication, antidepressants, because they don't know how to deal with life. They don't know how to deal with stress. And these medications make you worse. These medications make you dependent. And when they don't make you dependent, they start to create thoughts in your mind that you never had before you got on these drugs. And so, ladies, Filipinas especially, who watch me, if you do, or even Filipino men who have children, daughters, friends who are female, understand that not all foreigners who come here come with a good purpose. A lot of them who come here come because they are pedophiles and they want to take advantage of young women in this country. A lot of them come because they are abusive. A lot of them come because they can take advantage of the flaws in the laws that are here, unlike in the US, right? And so they come here thinking that they can come here and abuse the women and do whatever they want. And so you have to be aware of these things. It's not always the foreigners' fault, because if you make it easy for them to abuse you and you allow it, then it's your fault. You can't just submit to a man because he's got blonde hair, blue eyes, and light skin. You can't just submit to a man because he's got the foreign currency, the American dollar. You have to use common sense. And unfortunately now this woman, after only 5 months of being with this man, in her 20s, him in his 20s, he's going to prison and she's going to be buried. They're going to fly her body back here to the Philippines within a few weeks, and they're going to bury her in her province. And this is a sad thing that she's only been away for 7 days in a foreign country, and now she's coming home in a box. And so this is my message to all the women out there, especially Filipinos. You have to be careful. You have to be very, very, very careful. So, unfortunately, this is going to be a lesson to many Filipinas who read the story on Facebook, who hear about it, because this story has become very, very popular now here in the Philippines. And so, I feel bad for the parents. No amount of condolences or anything can make things better for this family, who were happy for their daughter because they believed that she finally got out of the position she was in. And I don't know if she was poor or middle class, because in the Philippines there are only two classes: those who got it and those who don't. And so I really feel bad for her, for the parents, and hopefully this story will be a lesson to those considering leaving the country with a man that they know nothing about. 5 months is not enough time to marry a person. They knew each other less than that before she married him. And so sometimes even 3 years isn't enough. If you can be with a man for 5 years, then that's your husband. But if you're with a man for 5 years and all you do is argue, fight, and you don't trust him and he doesn't trust you, he's not your husband. Don't marry him. You want to get to know a man? Make him your boyfriend. Be there for him. Have him be there for you. And if he's not within those 5 years, then he's not your husband. Don't marry him. It's just that simple. And so this is coming from a man, because I'm a man. And so I understand the mind of a man. Anyway, people, please have a good night. Ladies, be careful. Let this be a lesson to everyone who watches and hears the story, that not every foreigner who comes here is coming with good intentions.